This is Trisss. Welcome to another Abathur game here in Heroes of the Storm. Today we will be playing on the Sky Temple map, and in this game I want to particularly focus on why I am going for certain talents. Looking at the team compositions, if I would only see my own team, I would probably be either going for the symbiote build, because it would help out Xul and Ragnaros, our front line, to deal more damage. But going over the overall compositions of the team, we have pretty strong wave clear on our team already. Mainly Xul and Ragnaros and Gul'dan. So I don't really need to focus so much on pushing here. Our opponents also have an Abathur on their team, and as you might have noticed, I waited very long with picking my first talent here, because let's put it like this. If you're playing rock, paper, scissors, you want to be the person reacting last. So our opposing Abathur went here for a carapace build, which means that he will have the benefit of being able to push out waves. But like I stated, our team is pretty good in pushing back waves. He will be able to heal his teammates, which is very strong. The teams don't have a healer, so it feels like a good choice to go for the healing build here. And to be fair, if you go for the symbiote build, you get the healing talent at level 13, the how do you pronounce it? Transformers. Soma Transference, I think it's called. And it also allows you to heal your front line. So the opposing Abathur has great push potential with his shields. He has healing potential for his teammates. And if he so chooses, he could go for the monstrosity ultimate, which synergizes with his carapace build, because he's able to heal his monstrosity with it. However, there are some downsides to the build, of course. I am at the moment in the bottom lane. Minion waves clash normally, unless a team tries to hold them back like some pro teams do. They will clash in the middle. The effect of shielding your minion waves means that more minions will fall on the opposing side, and thus your wave will get closer to the wall of your opponents. This means, in other words, that while I'm playing Abathur, I don't really have to get into a dangerous position here in the bottom lane, because the minions will come towards me. And we do lose tower shots, and we might actually lose the towers. But the simple fact that he is pushing out his wave allows me to stay in a safer position, which is pretty good for me, especially since there's a Zeratul on the opposing team. And another downside here, which is actually a reason why I wouldn't want to go for the carapace build here, is that you lose your level 7 Mule talent. And Mule is a very strong talent. There were countless games in which I am certain we would have lost, me and my team and I, if I didn't have access to the Mule. And if you go for the carapace build, that slot is taken at level 7. It's like being a support character who has cleanse at level 7, but because of the certain build you're going for, you cannot take it. So as you can see here, our opposing Abathur was able to push out the wave. Our Mule, however, is now counteracting the damage. At least it would be if it wouldn't immediately die here to this cooldown. And if we're lucky, we can shield. No. As long as the building doesn't fall, doesn't die, we'll be able to keep it alive. And that actually, well, of course, gives you a safer place to stand as Abathur, but also it's a nice experience for your opponents, because as long as you keep your buildings alive, they will not gain experience from it, and that in turn might help you gain an experience advantage on your opponents. So in this game I went for the mines build, and I really like the mines build, but I also went for this build because I feel it's a very strong answer to Chromie. If she runs into a cluster of mines, she just dies. There's nothing she can do. It also helps against Zeratul to have some more mines up, if you're standing correctly, and I'm going to tell you right now, I am not standing correctly in a little bit here. I will die to a Zeratul. You have more mines available, so you can keep some of your mines close to you, meaning that a cloaked Zeratul who walks into your camp will trigger the mine, will get decloaked, and the towers will shoot him. This is sadly, however, not the best game to show that off, because, as I said, I'm gonna die in the top lane here, next to the fort, and apparently it's not this point in the game where I die, but it's just having more, and Ragnaros is going crazy right now, he really doesn't need to do that. Anyway, having more mines available means you can put yourself in a safe position by putting a mine near you, and you still have mines to de-push the wave, to set up traps for your enemies, and I have been able to, oh, come on, yeah, they should really run here. And so going for the carapace, you can push out your waves. Going for the mines, you can de-push the waves by putting mines in the lanes, which you might have noticed since I've been doing it. So the strong suit of the carapace build is basically you get to heal people. However, you also get to heal people if you go for the Soma transference at level 13. On top of that, you'll be able to heal buildings with your meal talent. Right here we're gonna go, I said I'm gonna talk about the talents, but somehow I get lost in the game and I want to comment on what's happening. Anyway, so I know that in Master League the carapace build is doing pretty well, combined with the monstrosity, I believe. However, I really do not like the build since you lose the mule at level 7. And at the start of this game I was waiting for the other Abathur player to show what he was going for, and I tend to dislike to just go for the same thing he's going. Let's say if he were going for the locusts, I would also go for the locusts. Is not something that would really strike my fancy. It's just gonna be a very long game where you're sitting across from each other in lanes and you have to outplay each other by the smallest margin, meaning you'll have very little influence of the rest of the game. Anyway, when you go for the mines build, you get a few talents where you can improve your mines. The slowing talent has been nerfed quite some time back, so it's really not that big of a deal not to take it. But after level 10 you have to switch and go for, well, a kind of a hybrid. You can either go for the symbiote from that point on, or you can go for a more locust kind of build. And the thing I like about going for the locust is that it allows you to take camps and put pressure on the map. The thing I like about going for the symbiote, it allows your front line to live longer. And if you have something on your team like a butcher, it's very strong, because if you keep your butcher alive, he will win fights for you. And I'm pinging here that he should finally be killed. This Xul should watch out. Our opponent did go for the monstrosity, and monstrosity actually gets very strong if it's leveled up. However, one of the problems is in that very fact that you have to level up your monstrosity. As you might notice, our opposing Abathur does not really get a lot of moments where he can focus on his teammates. He's focusing on his monstrosity so it doesn't do dumb things and just die. And that allows me to have a bigger influence in the team fights here. And it allows me to do more things in general. He has to focus on one thing and one thing only, while I can influence many things. And I can influence, in my opinion, the game more right now than he is able to. That's a bit sad. Nice calamity there. So, as you can see right now, we still have 2 of our forts standing, and I really think that's thanks to our mule talent, who is keeping things alive. Our opponents are pushing. Our opposing Abathur went for a pushing build, and still our buildings survive. And that is very strong. We also have a level lead at the moment, which might very well be due to the buildings we still have standing, which they don't have standing. So it's those little things which give you an advantage here. And to be perfectly honest with you, when I start a game, I tend to just look at the first level talents and then decide what to go for. Like, our opponent went for the carapace at level 1, which means he will have quite some talents in his tree locked up to improve the carapace. If you go for the symbiote build, you will probably be going for symbiote talents later on. So the level 1 actually tells you a lot about how you're gonna play. And that it's predictable is of course a bad thing, but on the other hand, if you just pick random talents, you'll be weak with every talent you have. So you actually have to focus and be strong in one thing. And I think in this game oh my god, run! We're showing that it's actually good to focus on something and go for it, even if it is the carapace build against a team like ours and with a team like theirs. If he would deviate from it, he would only be weaker from it. And if we would deviate from our builds, like if we would take mines at level 1, then deviate to a carapace at level 2, it's just not gonna work out so well for us. So if our opponent waited with picking his talent there, that was because he wanted to see what we were picking so he could react to it. And let's see. He's gonna make it out alive. On top of that, healing is of course good. And if you don't have a healer, you might think, well, getting a healer must be paramount here. But the thing is, without a healer, your team is susceptible to poke. Like if 2 teams stand across from each other with a big lane in between them and they just poke at each other, the team with the healer will have the advantage, because once the fight really starts, they will be topped off. But if you don't have a healer and there is no real poke war, it is not that important as you might expect it to be. On top of that, by not going for a healing build here, we are able to damage our opponents more. So while they might get the healing, they are also in need of more healing because they are damaged more. And yeah, I am personally... Oh, he has to go back. If you look at the map, he's grossly overextending here. We don't know where they are. Well, we see an Abathur right now, and I am not fond of mirror matches actually against Abathurs. If I ever see an Abathur on the other side, I want him dead. He has to die. So if I get the chance, I will definitely make sure I get him. At a level 20 here, like you could see, I went for the locusts in this game, so my level 20 is gonna be the locust focused talent. And let's see, they're gonna take their camp. We might take ours in exchange, but it looks like they're gonna fight a little bit over it, which is a perfect time for us to go up here and just throw down our locusts. And even with the carapace, our opponents will have a hard time defending that. And let's see if we can make something happen here. Probably not. So there's a nice wave coming in here. Getting the chromie. Oh, that was pretty good. And also almost getting the Abathur. You have to be careful against those lava waves. if you were Abathur and you missed lava wave, you might very well die. It's a bit like on Blackheart's Bay if you don't notice that the cannons are gonna shoot you and suddenly you die from them. So right here we can actually go in, but the timers are still pretty far off. And right here, even though we didn't take the stronger locusts at level 1, our little locust should be able to deal quite a bit of damage to these giants, and with a little bit of help from our side we will be able to take them out. And it is a little bit harder than when you take the level 1 talent, but as you can see we are in no danger of dying here, and we get the camp. In the meantime our gazebo is fighting 2 versus 1, and now it's a 2 versus 2, so let's see if we can make something happen. Which is always very nice to, in my opinion, to have a gazebo in your team, because gazebo shines in the late game. And with Mule you can make sure that you get to the late game. And sadly he falls here, but we did get some kills, so we're doing pretty well. We still have one of our forts standing, and it's been hard for our opponents to keep up with our experience. It's been hard for them to keep up with the flow of the game. So they are forced to defend here, which makes our game very easy for us. We are free to take control over the map anywhere we wish. They are forced to stay back where they are, and it will be very hard for them to come back from this point. I'm gonna see what's the best deal for us here. To be fair, in a other game I uploaded without the commentary though, I went for a monstrosity, with the sole purpose of the monstrosity being that I just want to counter push with it. I want to fire the ultimate and forget about it. And that was all I wanted to do, because I wanted to hat my team. I wanted to use the symbiote. Especially after level 20 it allows you to have the hive mind, and with the healing talents it allowed me to keep my front line alive, which in my opinion was the key to victory on that map. So you really don't need the carapace build to go for the monstrosity all the time, although any pro player will probably tell you differently. And yeah, we are right now able to basically choose how we're going to win this game. Oh, we missed the chromie. If I had vision I would tunnel in to slap her to death, but Zebo is going to get her. That's actually a thing I am very glad they changed. There was a time when if you were gonna deep tunnel onto a spot on the map and you lost vision, you would not be able to deep tunnel anymore. And that just felt horrible. It was very time consuming. And time is something which is important for Abathur, because you're busy every second of the game doing something. So yeah, I hope that this video has been at least a little bit explanatory why I did the things I did, and by no means always take the same build. Just go what feels right, and if you play enough you probably get a gut feeling for what the right thing will be. And yeah, this was a pretty fun game. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and weekend is just starting, so I'm looking forward to playing a little bit more. Maybe throw out another commentary here and there, if time allows it. If you guys are interested, these are the stats, these are the builds, and as you can see, yeah, once you log in for that level 1, you know where you're going with it.